They would remember this moment for the rest of their lives, though none of them knew it when it began. It started in the quietest, simplest way, just a boy sweeping the hotel lobby floor at dawn, moving gently so he wouldn't wake the guests still dreaming behind heavy doors. He was small, thin, dressed in a uniform a size too big, the fabric faded but clean. His mother had washed it by hand the night before, humming softly while he finished his homework on the counter beside her. They didn't have much, but everything they owned smelled of effort, hope, and love. That morning, as rays of early light spilled across the marble tiles, the boy forgot for a moment that he was working. He closed his eyes, let the mop rest against his shoulder, and allowed a quiet melody to escape his lips. It was Hotel California, a song his mother used to hum during the toughest nights, saying it soothed her soul like warm light in a long, dark tunnel. The boy sang softly at first, careful, almost shy. But then something inside him unlocked, and his voice rose, pure, fragile, yet impossibly powerful. The hotel manager, rushing past with a stack of papers, froze mid-step. The note he heard wasn't ordinary. It carried history, hunger, love, a lifetime of unspoken dreams folded into a single breath. He turned slowly, watching the boy, and for a moment the entire lobby seemed to hold its breath. The boy didn't even notice he had an audience. One by one, employees emerged from hallways and service doors, the housekeepers still holding fresh linens, the cooks wiping their hands on aprons, the receptionist pausing with a phone in hand. They formed a silent circle around him, drawn by something too honest to ignore. Even guests began peeking from behind doors, curious about the sound filling the air like a prayer. Then his mother stepped out from the kitchen. She stopped instantly. The towel slipped from her hands. She had heard her son sing before, but this was different. This was the sound of a child carrying his mother's dreams the only way he knew how, through a voice trembling with hope. As his final note echoed across the lobby, something inside every listener shifted. Not just admiration, not just surprise, but a quiet, aching tenderness. And though the boy returned to silence, everyone who witnessed it felt the same truth rising inside them. Nothing was ever going to be the same after this voice. By the next morning, the video of the boy's voice was already making its way through the hotel staff like a gentle secret too powerful to keep. No one had planned to share it widely, it simply happened. A housekeeper showed it to a guest. That guest showed it to another. And before anyone realized it, the boy's trembling, honest rendition of Hotel California was spreading through phones like a soft breeze carrying warmth into forgotten corners of people's lives. But the boy knew none of this. He arrived early, as always, mop in hand, shoes still damp from being rinsed the night before. His mother walked beside him, tired yet steady. She hadn't slept well, not because she was upset, but because her heart felt too full, too fragile, unsure how to hold what she had heard from her son. She had always known he was special, but yesterday, she heard something divine in his voice, something that scared her with its beauty. At their small lunch break, the boy finally gathered courage. "Mama, did I embarrass you?" His voice was tiny, like he already feared the answer. Her breath caught. "Embarrass me, Amor, you lit my whole heart." She touched his cheek, but there was something else in her eyes, fear, pride, disbelief woven together. Before she could explain, the manager called them both to his office. The boy's stomach tightened. He thought he was about to lose the job he desperately needed. His mother's hands trembled as they walked down the hall. But when the door opened, a shock waited for them. The entire staff was inside, smiling through tears. On a large screen, the boy's performance played, the same moment he thought was small, private, unimportant. This time, he saw grown men wiping their eyes, women holding hands to their hearts. When the video ended, a wave of applause filled the room. The boy couldn't move. His mother pressed her hands to her mouth, overwhelmed. "People from everywhere are sharing it," the manager said gently. "They say your voice feels like home." Those words struck deeper than any praise. Home, a word they had struggled to build, piece by piece, through long nights and harder mornings. For the first time, the boy saw his mother cry not from exhaustion, but from joy. Yet beneath that joy, a flicker of worry lingered. A misunderstanding, quiet, invisible, was already growing between them. The kind that can break a heart before anyone knows it. That night, long after the applause in the manager's office faded, the boy sat on the edge of his thin mattress, replaying every moment in his mind. Should he have sung louder? Softer? Should he have smiled more? He didn't know. All he could think about was the strange, quiet look in his mother's eyes. Pride, yes. Love, always. But behind it, something else. Something he couldn't name. Something that made his heart feel heavy. His mother sat nearby, folding his uniform with slow, thoughtful hands. The room was small, but tonight it felt filled with questions neither of them knew how to ask. After a long silence, she finally whispered, "Mi Vita, promise me something." He looked up, hopeful. "Anything. Promise me you won't forget who you are. Promise me you won't let the world change your heart." He blinked, hurt blooming slowly in his chest. It felt like an accusation. "Why would you even say that? Do you think I'm going to leave you?" She froze, throat tightening. "No, no, I'm scared for you. Not of you." But he didn't hear the difference. All he heard was fear, doubt, like she didn't trust him. Like she thought his dream made him someone she didn't recognize. His eyes filled with tears. "You think singing makes me forget where I come from? You think I want something better than us?" Her face broke, soft and trembling. "I want everything better for you. I just don't want the world to hurt you." Beautiful voices attract beautiful hopes, and hard disappointments. The boy turned away, misunderstanding everything. "So you're scared of my dream?" "No," she whispered. "I'm scared it's finally within reach." But the words landed wrong, sinking into the wrong corners of his heart. He lay down without eating, facing the wall, blinking back tears he didn't want her to see. She sat in the dark, watching the rise and fall of his small shoulders, wishing she knew how to protect him without breaking him. While mother and son struggled silently, the hotel staff gathered in the break room. They spoke softly, passionately. They wanted to do something more, something real, something that would lift the burden from both their lives. They passed around ideas, envelopes, suggestions, all born from genuine admiration. None of them knew that at this very moment, the boy believed he had disappointed the person he loved most. None of them knew that a miracle was already being planned to heal everything. The next morning arrived gently, with soft golden light brushing against the hotel windows. But inside the boy's chest, everything felt heavy. He walked beside his mother through the long hallway, each step quiet, almost reluctant. He avoided her eyes. She tried to speak twice, but the words fell apart before reaching her tongue. Love can be so strong that it sometimes forgets how to communicate. As they reached the lobby, the boy stopped. Something felt different. The air carried a quiet excitement, a hush that didn't belong to a normal morning. He looked up, then froze. At the center of the lobby stood a small stage, assembled from wooden platforms the staff had borrowed from storage. Fairy lights framed the edges, twinkling like stars caught in daylight. The entire hotel staff stood in a soft semicircle, housekeepers still holding linen baskets, bellboys with polished shoes, cooks with flour on their sleeves. Even guests gathered behind them, whispering and smiling. His mother stood at the front, hands pressed together, eyes full of something that shimmered between hope and apology. The manager stepped forward, voice warm and steady. "Today is not a normal day. Today, we honor a voice that reminded us of what humanity feels like, simple, honest, healing." The crowd nodded, some already wiping their eyes. The manager continued, "We want to give you something. Not charity, recognition." He stepped aside, revealing a framed certificate, its edges beautifully decorated. Beside it stood a glass jar filled with envelopes, donations quietly gathered overnight for a scholarship fund created entirely by the staff and a few touched guests. The boy's breath caught. He looked at his mother, tears streamed down her cheeks, but her smile was steady now, open, sincere. "Mi Amor," she whispered, "I wasn't afraid of your dream. I was afraid I wasn't enough for the world you're stepping into. I never wanted you to think I doubted you." The boy ran into her arms, sobbing. "I only wanted you to be proud of me. Nothing else." She held him tightly. "I am, more than you'll ever know." The staff clapped softly, their hearts full. Then someone started playing the gentle intro of Hotel California. The boy stepped onto the little stage, holding the microphone with trembling hands. This time, he didn't sing to be heard. He sang to be understood. And as his voice rose, pure and breathtaking, the room felt bathed in forgiveness, gratitude, and a love that had finally found its way back home. When the boy finished the final, haunting note of Hotel California, the lobby fell into a silence so deep it felt sacred. No one moved, no one breathed. It was as if the entire world paused to let the last vibration of his voice settle gently into every heart in the room. Then, like a wave breaking after a long stillness, applause erupted. Loud, warm, overwhelming. People cheered not just for the performance, but for the courage, innocence, and truth behind it. But in the very back of the crowd stood a man no one had noticed before. Gray hair brushed his shoulders, and gentle lines framed his eyes. He wore simple clothes, nothing flashy, but there was something about the way he listened, hands clasped, eyes shining, that made him different from everyone else. As the applause faded, he stepped forward slowly, wiping a tear from his cheek. The manager greeted him with surprise. They exchanged a few whispered words, and the manager's eyes widened in disbelief. The man approached the boy and his mother with calm reverence, as though standing before something precious. "Your son," he said softly, "has a voice I've spent my entire life searching for." The mother blinked, confused. "Who are you?" He smiled humbly. "I used to be a music producer. I've worked with voices from every corner of the world. But this," he placed a hand on his heart. "This is different. His voice doesn't just sound beautiful, it heals." The boy stared, stunned. "Why me?" The man knelt slightly, meeting his eyes. "Because your voice carries truth. And truth is rare. If you allow me, I want to mentor you. No contracts today, no pressure, just kindness, just belief." The mother's legs trembled. "You would do that for him?" He nodded. "For him, for you, for the world that needs voices like his." The boy looked at his mother, fear and hope tangled in his eyes. She cupped his cheeks. "This is your second chance, mi vida. Take it, I will walk every step with you." Years later, on the biggest stage of his new life, under blinding lights and roaring applause, the now-grown boy held the microphone with steady hands. Before singing his first note, he whispered into the silence, "For my mother, whose love was the first music I ever knew." And somewhere, across screens, across hearts, people felt the same thing they had felt that very first day. His voice didn't just rise. It healed, it remembered, it loved, and it stayed in the hearts of the world forever.